I am excited to be here today with my co-host, Sarah. Sarah, how are you doing today?
Not too shabby, Scott. How are you doing?
It better be better than not too shabby. We're talking about positive mindset.
Maybe I need to use some of these today before I go into work. Maybe that's where we're at.
100%. We are going to be talking about some positive mindset practices that salon owners and salon service providers can implement to just make sure that you're in the best mindset possible with good positive energy to not only allow you to have your best day, but to really kind of, I guess, spread some of that around you to everyone that you come into contact with throughout your day. So Sarah, why don't you hit us off with our first daily practice suggestion?
Yeah, for sure. So my first suggestion for like a positive daily practice that you can do is to create a list of micro moments of happiness. So what this is going to look like is you create like a list of, I think 10 is a good solid amount to go through, of just little things that are so quick and easy that almost brighten your day immediately. So for me, it's, my first sip of iced coffee in the morning, or it's putting on a super cheesy pump up jam, or reading a book, reading a page of my favorite book, watching a funny video of, puppies, whatever it might be, like just simple little things that don't cost you any money. I mean, unless it's the coffee, you go ahead, we'll justify Starbucks any day of the week. But like you pick these little micro moments of happiness that you then can refer to when you're not having a great day. So when you do have those moments where you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, or, a client has already texted and you before you even started your day, and and then a staff member is calling you and bitching about another staff member, whatever it is, when your day is not starting off right, then you can refer to this little list of these micro moments of happiness. Now this in particular is super important for everybody. I feel like everybody could benefit from this, but especially if we're talking about stylists who are educators or on the stages of fusion and teaching to all of these different people, is you will have these spiked moments of adrenaline that a lot of people do not have. So what what ends up happening is you wear out some of those pleasure centers in your brain. So to bring yourself back to that, that place where you can have these little moments of happiness that do spark joy in you, it's important to mix that into your daily ritual so that those types of things aren't being passed, or they don't bring you any joy because you're used to having this heightened level of pleasure by, being on stage, having people praise you, everything like that. So this is a super, super easy way for, again, salon owners, stylists, anybody who, is in the limelight or anything like that, to kind of center yourself back, bring yourself back, and be able to, spark joy in little ways throughout your day.
I love that. And it's, I think, so great to have just these triggers, because if you can recognize, it happens to us all throughout the day, right? Our moods change. And if you can be aware and recognize that, you're in a bit of a downer, like all of a sudden you've come down, if you can recognize that and then find one of these micro things to just kind of trigger to help boost you back into a more positive state, that's where it'll really come into handy. So I love that. I'm going to focus on morning rituals, right? So how you can actually get your day started off on the right foot. Too many times, we wake up and we just all of a sudden feel like we're that hamster on the wheel, right? And we just can't get caught up. You know what? You might be at home, you might be up having to get, kids ready for school. Then you all of a sudden see some messages maybe on your phone that you have to deal with, and it just keeps adding up in this building of stress of like all the things that you have to get done, and you just feel like you can't keep up. Starting your day off on the right foot is so critical, and a couple of things that you can do to try to help influence that is to start your day a little bit earlier, right? You need to find a little bit of time to have to yourself, to put yourself in the right mindset. I was recently with a friend of mine who had been struggling with this for a really long time. And it was actually her family suggested that she get up 30 minutes, before she typically does. And she actually now has incorporated that into her routine for the last several months. And it's had such an impact for her, where she now has some time to herself to just kind of get properly centered and not all of a sudden get into the wheel. And with that extra time, there's so many things that you can be doing, right? Whether it's, making sure that you fuel yourself maybe with a proper breakfast, right? Maybe it's getting yourself a little quick workout in. Maybe it's going out into nature and just, doing a little bit of exercise, whether it's a walk, whether it's just connecting with nature through some kind of, meditation exercise. It doesn't have to be, super meditation per se, but just kind of being out there can allow you to get centered. So make sure that you take a little extra time for you to start your day, kind of get grounded, right? Maybe make yourself a to-do list if that's what is needed to be done, so you can kind of feel in control of your day from the get-go before you actually get started.
I would love to add one more thing to that. Don't spend that extra half an hour scrolling on your phone. In fact, that extra time in the morning, if you can just leave your phone to the side, just focus on yourself completely in that half an hour.
Absolutely.
The world will keep spinning. Everyone will be fine.
It's not an extra half an hour to try to do work so that you don't have to do it later. No, exactly. Absolutely not. And you don't want to check messages because that might stress you out about something that needs to be done. Work on you and starting your day off with the things that are important to kind of bring you energy, bring you some peace, and get centered.
I heard a really awesome little tip just to add on to that too. If you're the type of person that typically hits snooze, that's a habit. That's not like it's your habit thinking that you're rewarding yourself with the extra sleep. So you can break that habit. Any habit can be broken. So instead of reaching over and pressing snooze, reach over and take a sip of water, because there's usually that first 7 seconds when you're like waking up that your brain, the part of your brain that actually can make decisions and knows what's going on, isn't fully awake yet. But if you can change that habit from hitting snooze to taking a sip of water, it'll help wake your brain up and you'll actually be able to get started with that extra half an hour. And I promise that extra half an hour of spending a little extra time on yourself versus hitting snooze and sleeping in a little bit longer, you're going to feel exponentially better doing the first. So
love it. Love it.
All right. So another kind of positive daily practice that we recommend bringing into place are breathing exercises. I know this has been harped on over and over again, but how many of you actually sit down and do a breathing exercise? It is easy, it is free, it is quick, it is simple, and breathing can change your entire mood. It can change your entire day, everything like that. And the internet is an absolute like plethora of different videos and everything like that. So there are a ton of different resources that you can look into for like the breathing exercises. One of the easiest and most simple ones that always sticks with me, especially if I'm in a bit of a stressful or anxious situation. If you think about it, if you're having a panic attack or if you're panicking, your breathing quickens, right? Like it becomes very quick. So if you can kind of trick your brain into breathing in and then on the exhale, letting it going out for longer than it is the inhale, it will trick your body into thinking that you're calm. So that is a super, super easy one. Inhale for 4, exhale for 8. Do that a couple of times over and it will immediately calm your nervous system, everything like that. So again, it's wild what breathing can do. And I recommend, again, giving it a Google and, diving into the millions of videos that are out there.
Yeah, it's actually, if you actually close your eyes and do it a little bit, it's an instant de-stressor. And I've heard actually of the 4-6-8 technique. So you breathe in for 4, you hold it for 6 seconds, and then you exhale for 8. Yeah. So you actually kind of are pausing a little bit before you exhale. And again, if you do this just a few times, it instantly kind of just, it relaxes you very, very quickly. So really great exercise. Fourth practice that we're going to share is positive affirmations. And this is a great thing to do. I'm going to bring it back to sort of the morning routine because it's a great time to do it, to sort of start your day, is actually giving yourself some positive affirmations to get going. But it can also be done throughout the day if you feel that you need a bit of a pick-me-up. So, I mean, right before starting this podcast, Sarah and I were like, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to be amazing. We're going to bring energy and some great information to our listeners. That's positive affirmations to kind of get yourself psyched up and ready for what you're about to do. I like the beginning of the day routine doing this. It's actually a technique from Tony Robbins called priming. And it's about priming yourself to live the day that you want to live. And if you think about our mindset, right? Everything that goes on in our mind is some made up story that's based on, a whole bunch of factors of sort of beliefs that we have. But ultimately, we're just telling ourselves some kind of story. So the learning here is you might as well tell yourself a good story as opposed to a bad story. It's completely up to you. Rather than going through all the things that can go wrong, you might as well go through all the things that can be right. And if you tell yourself over and over and over again that, you are confident, you are a strong business leader, you are an energetic person, you bring value to the world. If you literally tell yourself that every single day, multiple times per day, you will start to actually believe it. And once you actually believe it, you will act upon it. It's a very, very powerful truth that sometimes seems like it's corny and cheesy, but I absolutely promise you that it works. So a few things that you could do specifically, if you're the salon owner, you have to remember that when you walk in through those salon doors, people look to you and your mood is contagious throughout the entire salon team. So if you walk in and your shoulders are slumped and you're kind of stressed and you're in a downer mood, you just essentially are radiating that throughout the whole salon.
Making that rain throughout the entire salon.
Yeah. And you have to be so cognizant of it. So literally, maybe you are in a bad mood, maybe you are feeling stressed, before you get out of your car and walk in those doors, you have to prime yourself, right, with some positive affirmations. So, I'm going to be bringing positive energy to my team today. Despite, what I'm feeling, I'm going to make sure that I make my clients feel fantastic. I'm going to make sure that I have positive meetings with my team. I'm going to bring confidence, despite that I'm feeling maybe uncertain about certain things, going on, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to display confidence. I'm going to bring energy. I'm going to bring passion. And literally, you can prime yourself. And again, if you do it, when I say these things to myself, I feel myself, just kind of getting more energetic. And I do this to myself every single morning as part of my routine to get my day started in the right way. And I kind of tell myself how I want to live. And it really fuels me with energy and allows me to come out and bring the best version of myself every single day. So this is a really great technique that you can be doing. I also want to quickly shout out a podcast episode that we did with Sherry Doss, where we delved a lot deeper into some of these mindset opportunities and techniques that she has, experienced herself and taught to salon professionals for years and years. I would highly encourage you to go and check out that podcast episode after this as well. All right, Sarah, finish us off with practice number 5.
So this is one of my favorite practices, and it's something that I try to do every single day. I don't care who you are or if it makes you uncomfortable. Everyone loves a compliment. Everyone loves hearing that their hair looks nice that day, or that their nails are cute, or maybe you just like their boots, whatever it is. I make a conscious effort every time that I step into the salon, and I'm not doing this everywhere. I'm not at the grocery store, like shouting out like, hey girl, cute hair. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm talking more in the salon setting or wherever your work setting is. But every client that I come into contact with and every stylist that I come into contact with, I like to pick one thing about them that I like that day. So whether it, again, is something, physical, where I'm like, oh, love that shirt, love your shoes, whatever it is. Or if it's something that I've just always wanted to say to somebody, like, I really appreciate the hard work that you're putting in, or I love how you always have, again, a sunny disposition, or whatever it might be. It makes me feel good giving that compliment. And again, it's kind of the law of attraction. What you put out, you're going to receive. And I just feel like that's such a huge thing that, like, yeah, just immediately brightens your day. And one of the best compliments, this kind of ties back into all of this. One of the best compliments I've ever received from my team is I had one of the girls kind of pull me aside one time and say, she's like, doesn't matter what you're going through in your life. And she's like, and I know you have shit going on at home. Like, I know, there's relationship issues, you've got family, it's things going on, whatever it is. She's like, I know all of that personally. She's like, I would never know it in the salon. She's like, you do not bring your personal issues to the salon. You're always, again, got a smile on your face. You're always complimenting people. You're always doing that. So that's one of the best compliments I've ever received. And I feel like it truly does come from putting a lot of these daily practices into play. Like what you were talking about, like the putting your best foot forward. I give myself a good couple of cleansing breaths before I go into the salon every day. Does not matter if I was crying on my way to the salon. Doesn't matter if I just had, quick little mentee bee before I hopped into working with clients or anything like that. I always chill myself out and say, like, I'm setting the tone for this entire salon today. So if I come in as a negative Nancy, I'm going to get that back too. So again, I think that the people around you will recognize, even if it's like a subconscious thing, they don't realize that you're putting in this work. People will recognize when you're in better spirits. So yeah, that's why these types of things are so important to do.
Love it. And Sarah, I'm going to compliment you because I know that you have so much going on in your world. You have so many different hats that you wear, but I love the fact that you always have a willingness to help. You always have a willingness to, get it figured out. And despite, all the things that you're dealing with, you always tell me, you know what, absolutely, I'll get that figured out. I'll make sure that we get that done. And it's a great skill. And I just wanted to say thank you very much. I think it's amazing.
That's cute. Thank you.
So always helps, right? And
Yes.
So I think this has been great. What you talked about, positivity attracts positivity. And just think of little things. When you smile at somebody, it's almost impossible for them not to smile back at you. So think about this the next time that you are, think about it right now. If you're with other people, or the next time you're about to step into the salon, doesn't matter if you're the owner or if you're an employee, or you're a chair renter and you're just kind of working with other people. You can help bring positivity to the entire environment around you. And some of these techniques hopefully will give you a little bit of a spark to bring the best of yourself, so that you can not only feel good about yourself, but you're also helping lifting everybody else up around you. Such a great thing. Take the time, practice your mindset, so critical. And we hope that you got a little bit of boost of positive energy from this episode. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks for listening.